So, helicopters, we're sharing helicopters. We do have a couple of our own. But if you go by Baker City Airport, you see a whole gaggle of helicopters. That's being shared between the 3 fires that are here.
You have fuel at your base camp for them, or they have to return to your fuel?
No, they're all based out of Baker City.
You might move their fuel trucks out there at the same time, and let the fuel trucks drive back to the Baker City at night. That way you have utilization of helicopters full time.
Right.
Something for your off-key, for your elevation man.
Right. So, so the helicopters, when we came in, we had no helicopters assigned to us. We have, I don't know, 1 or 2 maybe assigned to us specifically. All the rest, the great big ones, type 1s as we call them, are being shared between the 3 fires. They're prioritized daily, as is all retardant. So as far as moving the helibase or doing different things, you know, I think Ops has probably addressed that through our aviation branch and talked about it, but we're into a sharing thing. There's not enough helicopters to go around. So we can look at moving, we're looking at moving a lot of things as we speak, but our ability to do that depends on if the system can support it. So that's helicopters. I think I'd have to look, I have an IAP there. I don't know how many we have listed today. The firefighting part, probably 8 or 9, I think was our last count. That's considering we had one that crashed. You all hear about that? Okay, a hard landing, fair enough.
It's a crash.
I don't want to be in a hard landing. I spent a lot of time in helicopters.
You know, to address the helicopter just a little bit, you know, the governor hasn't, you know, declared a state of emergency. So what comes along with that is military resources. 5 of those helicopters sent in Baker are military aircraft. There's 4 of them that are type 1 type ships that are sent in, and then there's a medevac type ship. So they're trying to help.
Another piece of the question was the shot crews.
Yeah, hot shot crews, we have 0.
You don't have any,
No.
so you burn out operators, you'll have a problem with that hot shot crews like they all burn out.
You are correct. So here's what we do have.
You have access to ping pong machine
Yeah.
anytime you want, turn back to city also.
You've obviously fought 4 fires before.
Oh yeah, I've done your job, obviously your job also.
So, yes, we do have a ping pong ball machine for all of you donuts, a machine that sits in a helicopter, and that's how we did the backfiring operation where we brought it down to the road. So we do have, it's called a PSD, ping pong ball machine for short. Yes, we have that. We have a helicopter. We do not have any hot shot crews. We're sharing our helicopters at the base. We always share the air tankers, helicopters, the air tankers, hot shot crews are being prioritized by people not in this room, somewhere way far away. The priorities currently are, what do they tell us? Towns, basically, communities. We've gone nationally from structures being the priority to entire communities being the priority. So it goes from communities to structures to private land to yada yada. Of course, first and foremost is life. So to answer your question, we don't have enough stuff. We started with that. We do not have enough stuff. So we are prioritizing our actions with the stuff that we have based on our priorities. So as this fire moves east, we're going to be doing the same exact thing we've been doing already. We're not offensive in any way, shape, or form. We're in a completely defensive stance. And if I wasn't clear about that at the start, I apologize. As I said, all we've been doing is prepping structures, prepping them, getting them ready to defend, and defending structures. There is 0 firefighting occurring on the fire. None. We don't have the stuff. And I apologize if we weren't real clear about that, but no, we're offensive in no way, shape, or form. So I have to get on this call every morning. It's fun, because all I do is get on calls, but I get on this call, it's the IC call. It's all the people in me around the entire Pacific Northwest. So all of Washington, all of Oregon, every fire that we have, every large fire. There were 8 Type 1 teams, 11 Type 2 teams, 2 area command teams, and I think 2 NEMO teams, and every single one of them is doing point protection defense because we don't have enough stuff.
The reason, one of the reasons I brought that out is I think you guys are probably a great team, I don't know. But I'm very aware, I'd like everybody here to be aware, this fire's going to move east, just that simple. It's just a matter now of what's speed, and without you getting a lot of help, there's really not much you can do to even slow it down. It's kind of going to be dependent on fuels, the weather, the next 10 days is calling for hot and dry, low humidity, not necessarily the winds will get it. You know, hey, more help to you. I know you're way outdone, so best to you.
Well, thanks.
I have 2 policy questions. Probably the first one goes to Gary.
he here?
Yes, Gary's coming up.
Gary, how does a fundamentally Republican county convince a Democratic governor to release more National Guard troops to us? The second part of the question, who's working on it?
That's a good question. I'll talk to the commissioners about it.
Do we need to encourage the commissioners to do more?
I mean, we can do that, I mean, and they'll take those calls. Commissioner Bennett was actively involved in the fires in Unity. And Commissioner
He was
Harvey's
involved
been.
in our fire here before, as you were.
Yes.
And you know what we had to do then, it took John Painter to get us up to category 1, and to get real resources here. Now, we need to do that again.
Dave,
It's just a phone call away to do it.
Dave, if we gotta make a phone call, I'll definitely talk with you at the break.
Okay, well, let's get something started here. The other policy question is you guys. What are your bosses learning about forest management out of this, the last devastating state of affairs in Washington, Oregon, where our forest is blown up through incompetent forest management? Is anybody paying attention to what's going on? Or is it just you poor guys out here trying to fight the bureaucratic mess? Anybody want to speak to that?
My straight day job and this
Yeah,
job.
no,
Firefighter.
I'm not picking on you. I'm just hoping you'll carry the message back to the bureaucrats.
Well, we're all hoping that the smoke in the air that we're seeing across the region, across the states, is gonna speak for itself. But, I mean,
It hasn't in the past, why should it now?
There certainly, I guess, what I think we could say is there certainly is a dialogue about, I think, the question you're asking. I don't think any of us in the room have the right answer or the details to address the question you're asking.
I just
But
expect you to
I
get it
could
back.
say that there is a dialogue and your comments well noted. So I do want to point out, I want to make sure that folks get an opportunity to get where they need to go. So I think what I'd like to do, take five or so more questions. We'll be around to answer others at the end. It looks like we're going to take more than 5 questions, but I just want to give folks a heads up.
This side of the room.
So anyway, we'll answer.
Now, I'd like to know, has that spot fire crossed over, is it on the Eagle Creek drainage, or is it on top in Sullivan and Little Eagle? Is it still on the Eagle Creek drainage?
So,
No, it's on the Sullivan side.
Is it on the Sullivan?
When you
drainage?
actually can go up and look at the map, you can see that.
Okay, well, is it over the bridge and on the
It's
Sullivan?
on top of the ridge,
It's-
according to their map.
Sullivan and Little Eagle drain back toward McBride. Hunted that country, I rode for cattle in that country and everything like that. And this is, whereabouts, is it on the Eagle Creek drainage, or do you know if it's on the McBride drainage or Summit Creek drainage?
so where it came out, and I know you can't see this again. Next time, we're gonna bring a projector and great big map. So this is East Eagle Creek right here.
Okay, right,
Okay, this is the west aspect of East Eagle Creek.
so it's still on the Eagle Creek side, on
Yes,
the
sir.
drainage, it hadn't made the top yet.
It was when I got here.
Okay. Fine.
If it still is, I do not know.
Okay, now, if that's the position of that fire, and it's moving east, basically, or northeast, or whatever the wind position is, it looks to me like it's gonna burn out the head of Little Eagle, and the Little Eagle Meadows, and probably miss the west wall down here.
Okay?
That's my moment.
Yeah.
Doug, right now it's the third of the way up from the bottom. Right now it's the third slope, below Little Eagle Meadow.
It's already over the top in Sullivan, and.
It is in Sullivan Creek itself,
Okay,
a third of the way up. Okay?
okay.
The concerns I think we have is if it runs to the top of Cornucopia, it's better for all of us.
Oh, yeah.
The fear is that it's gonna wrap. It's gonna wrap around. So, right now, that fire, that spot fire right there is in Sullivan Creek, a third of the way.
Thank you, Tom.
I just wanted to point out that none of you guys are responsible for the sequester that has gutted your budgets to do anything but fight fires.
So you guys are short on resources and short on manpower and short on everything. What as a community can we do to help support you? If people have bulldozers, do you want them to pick them up to you? If we bring 20
We can, at the request of these folks, for the need of those things, hire you after we need to put you through a training. We have to have a session here, what is called as an OSHA fire shelter training. And you basically can get hired on through our system to help them out at their request.
Well, because I know my husband helped on the other side all this week, so. And there's people on this side that wanna help too, we just don't know what to do.
So the best thing you could do is find out who those folks are. And they can contact our office either in the Baker or LaGrande, probably the best one's LaGrande, and I can give that number out here. And they can get those lists of things to us, and we can have them available, and then we can contact you. And like we put a whole bunch of Fish and Wildlife folks through some training just yesterday, or just this morning. And they're headed to Troy, with some of their equipment, trying to help out with this. So the best thing you can do is come up with those lists of available stuff and get them posted to us so we are aware.
Can I add a couple things to that real quick?
Eric, go ahead.
I came in as somebody's asking the question, what can we do? And I guess in situations like this, I always look to us. I mean, I'm a native of Baker County. The most important thing we can do is stay vigilant with good communication. I know the team is going to be sending good information to this site probably from here on out. So this team is going to be establishing information coming to this site. So one thing we can all do as a county and as a community is make sure that the information we're sharing is accurate and up to date. And so lean on this location for that, and the team will do that. The other thing I think about, my home is in an urban interface too. If you're out in those outlying areas, the things you can do right now are things that we can do any spring or summer, and that's the prep around their homes. So start thinking about where things are, our vehicles parked in a way that, out of the way so engines can get in. If you have a ladder, you might stick a ladder up next to the house. Again, I'm not talking about folks in halfway proper, but out in that urban interface area. So when you go back tonight, think about what you can do around your own home, like clearing and opening gates and things like that, and marking septic tanks with ribbons, some of those things, so that when the activity does pick up, we're kind of all working together on that. So really important stuff.
You can also clean up all the junk in your defensible space around your house.
Yeah, that good 30 foot around the house, and then that 100 feet out of limbs and things like that. Yeah, anything you can do. If you have questions about that, we'd be happy to answer those.
Last night I talked to one of your air resource managers, and they were looking at setting up a recharging station and Hellbase in Carson, above Carson. Is that still roughly the plan?
They're still moving stuff up there.
Yeah,
Bigelow's.
All right. And on InciWeb, it shows an estimated containment date of the 15th of next month. Is that just a shot in the dark, or how does that date get put there, and who decides what that date is?
so we decide that date. What that date is we're back to we're defensive.
Right, I understand.
So keep in mind, that doesn't mean that we're gonna be here till the 15th of the next month, or it's still gonna be burning or whatever. That's a containment date when the fire isn't spreading anymore. There are chunks of the fire that we may never get to. You know, it's going north, it's gonna hit natural barriers and all that stuff, but that takes a while. So that date is set on how long we think it's gonna take to accomplish certain things, and that date is not set in stone. So, and I'll be honest, we wouldn't put a date in there, but the national office
Right, well,
folks,
that's
they
what
make
I'm
us put a
wondering,
date
why
in
is
there.
that date even there? I guess
Well, we
that's my
didn't,
point.
so, we didn't have one until just the other day, and then they called and said, you don't have a containment date, and we said, yeah, so, and they said, we have to pick one.
Okay. Well,
Well, I'm not gonna,
I just thought it was a good idea to clarify that, because it is coming right up on the
I
webpage.
forgot about that, thank you, yeah, and we didn't wanna lie to you all, say, yeah, we're gonna contain it next week, or in 2 days, or whatever, we don't
Yeah,
know.
it's not funny, but it's funny when you see it, so.
Yes, sir.
What would happen there below Sullivan, the south side of Sullivan and Little Eagle, if the guy put a fire line there and tried to direct that fire to the north, to that outline area, Little Eagle Meadows and the peaks?
So we try and do that, and we may try and do it again, if we have enough room to get in front of it to do that. But in this world of firefighting, when we put in a line like that, it's an indirect line, as we call it, the fire's over here and our line's over here, we have to burn it. because if we don't burn it, the fire just spots right over the top of it. So we gotta create enough barrier that it'll catch all the spot fires. So it gets back to this gentleman's comment, not sure where he went, don't see him now, but we don't have a hot shot crew. We do have several type 2, what we call type 2 IA crews, and they have that capability. But our problem is, so they also have the capability to protect the structures and do structure protection. So if we pull them off of structure protection to go fire off a bulldozer line, then we're losing houses. So that's why I say because what you're talking about is an offensive move. It's us going after the fire. We don't have the stuff right yet, because we're still defensive protecting structures. Okay. Okay. Yes, ma'am?
Not long before we came to this meeting, there were large tanker trucks and things going down Cornucopia Highway, right on a mile from Carson. Are they going somewhere up there to kind of defend that, or are they going through those properties?
So what we've ordered is, it's this thing called a portable retardant base. So when you see our airplanes flying retardant, slurry, mud, whatever, all the different nicknames of it are coming out of the airplanes, we can also drop that out of helicopters. And so instead of it all sitting at the airport and using airplanes or whatever else, we can set one up out in the woods somewhere, which is what we're doing there, and then we fill a giant bucket full of retardant, and our helicopters can fly over, dip their bucket in it, pick up retardant, and go put it where we need it. It's a whole lot closer, we can move a lot faster. Instead of just dropping water, which dries out like that, we can drop retardant. Keep in mind though, retardant is called retardant for a reason. It's not suppressant. So it retards the spread of the fire until we can do something else, because it will eventually dry out as well and then burn. So, but what we do effectively with it, like we did in some other areas on the fire, is we can drop the retardant until we can get some people there and take some action on it and try and steer the fire and do things with the retardant. It slows it down for us is what it does. So that's what you saw going up there. There'll be a lot of trucks and big pumps and all kinds of.
Can I comment on that real quick?
Yes, sir.
In lieu of that, guys, it is really neat to watch. However, the location that it's gonna be is limited egress access. So, let's not congregate up there to watch the show. We can watch the show from farther down the road as they come in and out. We don't wanna inhibit their activities by having too many people in one spot. Okay?
Yes, sir.
You know, you mentioned that you got people up there moving cattle right now. You know, there's a lot of cattle and and it's probably just the ranchers up there. There's a lot of horse people in this room. Are they needing help out in front to get those cattle out? I mean, there's a lot of people here that throw their horses in a heartbeat and help them get moved.
Right. I guess I would say if you know some of these folks, by all means contact them directly, because they very well may need the help. I guess that's the best advice I can offer at this point.
You guys haven't got someone that's kind of, as you mentioned, someone that's kind of in charge of getting those cows moved out with the rancher that contacted them.
No, so kind of how that works is our operations guys that fight the fire, they go through this other person, we have called a liaison officer, we got all kinds of people. And they got a hold of all the permittees and folks who have cattle there, and we tell them kind of it's going into an evacuation, that includes your cows. So we don't have the people to help them move them, we wouldn't want to move them, I don't have a bunch of folks that know how to do that.
Then you have to get on you.
So, yeah, they're moving them, so I figure there, if you know those folks and they need help, please do so. But keep in mind, if our firefighters come by and say, you're out of time to move them, we can't let you go in there to go move cows, it's because we don't want people to be in peril moving cows.
That might be something we can talk about here at this location in terms of a way for the community to come together and get information. So talk with Todd about that. All right, folks, just a couple more questions.
Couple more.
Sir?
Couple of observations I have for the county and the dispatch. One is that the evac level notices read like a legal property description. From the confluence of thus and such creek, 119 paces north to the 7015 road, and a lot of that stuff you can't find even on the Forest Service map. So it would be nice to have that filtered through maybe some local knowledge, more commonly known reference points for exactly where the fire is.
Yeah, when we first started doing that, and this would have been over in Cornet and Windy, it was getting too detailed. And one of the just create a big box, find some major roads, give people the gist. Doesn't have to be down to, you know, the hairs here, let's just paint a box and be simple. So we're working on that, so we're trying to go big box, and I'll work on that a little bit.
The second thing about that was I got out my map, I couldn't read detail on the level of resolution on the Facebook map. So I got out my big map, and it was exactly the same map, and I got out my marker and I started making marks, and I've been on a level 2 for days, and I've discovered actually that I'm not on any level at all. 30 feet away to the north, across a gravel road, our 7 acres over there is on level 2. But we're not on any level at all in our house. I thought it would be good if the website offered some advice to people. Obviously, the fire couldn't care less if there's a gravel road between its authorized area and us.
Part of my effort to bring, and Todd's to bring the team here for this update, I think you're gonna see the information get a little cleaner and a little tighter, so that locally, you guys will be touching the map instead of going online and trying to,
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Maybe one more question, and then I got a closing thought for you, and then we'll let you mill about, and you can answer for a bit. Any other questions?
Over here. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
thank you. When you were in the back of the room answering questions about cornucopia, we couldn't hear what you were saying. Could you repeat what you told everybody in the back of the room about there was a question about the status of cornucopia?
Yes.
We didn't get it.
Yeah, I can do that, you betcha. Let me wrap that into a couple of things here. So, the gentleman said he couldn't hear me when we were talking about cornucopia. And the question in the back of the room earlier was, is the fire gonna get to cornucopia? It could, it's likely, probably. I know that doesn't answer the question, so here's what I would say. We are preparing for the fire to get to cornucopia. We are going out prepping houses or structures, with the stuff that's there, not houses per se. The structures, a cornucopia, all the stuff, like we are in front of the fire anywhere else. So, we work in this business of projecting as far out as we can with the resources that we can, and cornucopia is within that area that we're looking. So, yeah, can I guarantee you it's gonna get there or not get there? No, I apologize, I can't. It's like anything else, there's too many ifs in that business, but, we're concerned that it's gonna get there.
Do people who own homes up there, is there something they can do now to go up and help you do that prep work? Or would you rather they not be there?
It's still in level 2, right? Yes. Yeah, no, you can still go up there.
And can they be helpful?
Yes. So here's where I was gonna go with my message, thanks for helping me to get to the end of this. So, if you have stuff well out in front of the fire, and you're still in just level 2, it's a house, whatever it is, anything you can do to prepare it, hence the prep word, around that structure to make it more defendable, and we'll get you some information on websites to look up how exactly to do that and things. Yeah, by all means. But, if we go to a level 3 in the area where you're working, we really ask that you leave the area. And I know that in Oregon you can stay at your property, you have the right to do so, but, it inhibits our ability to help you if we can't get in, et cetera. And so, we would really hope that y'all evacuate when we go to a level 3, and let us do what we can to protect the structure without putting yourselves in peril.
The other night when they were back, they were going to Lily White, the police, the sheriff's department, to people places. I heard one of the policemen say, did you tell these people when you made a call that if they hear the siren, that is level 3? And the dispatcher said, no, you want us to do that? He said, well, it's a little late now. But is there some way that, because there's a lot of people out there scattered everywhere.
Yeah, so, you guys do the siren system?
I've heard the siren system mentioned by the sheriff. I can't speak to the sheriff on that. I know if it's level 3, you're gonna be hearing audible sounds, door-to-door activity, and things like that. So, I believe they're using the siren system.
We will, yeah, I'm getting to be good friends with the sheriff. We talk a lot.
Drink and drive.
We talk a lot, because I'm here working for those folks. But, we'll verify. I do know that they've used the siren system, and so, if you're around your house and you hear sirens coming through there and there's smoke everywhere, then it's likely a level 3.
Yeah, it just would have helped them, because I think there was only 4 of them up there going through everything.
Yeah.
So they said, well, you can do it now.
Okay, folks, we have another one of these to go do. Chris wants to make sure he gets you all the phone numbers so you can get all the information that you can. Todd will have his center set up here, right? We will make sure he's no more than a phone call from us, so as soon as we have information about anything, he'll get it. If you don't get it any other way.
All right, so thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here. Before you do go, I want to make sure you have the phone numbers and the way to get in touch with folks, or the way to get information, so you can stay in touch, have accurate information as has been said today. So I'm going to start with the information that we're providing directly from the Eagle Complex. If you have any questions, concerns, or you want to know what's happening, you can call us directly, and that's 541-406-0201. Again, 541-406-0201. We generally staff that until about 10:30, at least 10:30 or so in the evening. If we don't answer it, we get a voicemail and we'll get back to you. We also have email. If you want to send us an email, it's eaglecomplexinfo@gmail.com. Sounds like people have been visiting INCIWeb. INCIWeb for this incident is number 4481. You can search for Eagle Complex on there. And then lastly, on Facebook, I've heard a number of people talk about the images on Facebook. And Facebook for this incident is Eagle Complex 2015. Please, like I said, if you have any questions or you want to know what's happening, we try to stay just lock in step with the operations and what's happening right at that moment. If we don't have that answer, we'll get it to you and get back to you. So if you want information about the complex and the fire operations, please call us. There's some other important numbers. I appreciate the offer for the ICP here. I think that's going to be really valuable. So again, I'm Scott to give us
Center at the high school. I wish I could tell you what that phone number is right now, but I'm going to rely on this team working directly with Todd Robinette and funneling information here. But there's a joint information. If you want to go online, I would Google Baker County Joint Information and it brings it up. But I'd like to see the first-hand information coming from the team right here.
And the Joint Information Center would just be for information for incidents outside of here. It's much more productive for you all to contact us directly to find out about Eagle Complex. Any other phone numbers or websites or emails that we needed to share? Great. Folks, thank you so much. I know it's been a long afternoon. I appreciate your attention.
Thank you.